This is Josh from Blackout Tinting again, and we're here with the Charger Hellcat, and we're going to show you how to touch up some minor rock chips and things like that on your paint job. So what we're going to be using today to do some touch-up work is a Mopar touch-up pen. You guys have probably seen this at the auto parts store. It has one end where there's paint, one end where there's clear coat. It's a two-stage system, and basically you just sort of dab this on with a little paintbrush or with some other tool, and then wait for it to dry, go over it with some clear coat. While we do some touch-up here at the shop, we don't specialize in touching up paint chips as much as we do paint correction work, removing micro scratches and swirl marks and things like that. We do some minor chip repair, and we're going to show you how we do it today. So there are a couple different ways to touch up paint. You can go the body shop route where they can spray some color and blend clear coats and things like that. Usually that's for something a little bit more major than what we're going to show you today. We can also use the paint pen like we have, and we're just going to dab some paint in there, let it dry, build up the clear coat a little bit, and then wet sand it smooth and polish the paint. While it may not be completely invisible, it's going to be a lot better than an ugly rock chip, or there's a scratch somewhere on the back of the car we're going to try to touch up as well. If you know that it's there, you may still know that it's there afterwards, but it's going to look a lot better than it did with the chip. So we do have one small rock chip on the door here. You can see a little white dot, and that's really minor. That's almost to the point where it's not worth touching up. Be able to get some paint in there without making it look worse with a big glob of paint like the paintbrush would give you. So we were using these very small, I don't even know what you call them, detail sticks, detailing Q-tips, something like that. Detailed Image sells them online. We also get them on Amazon sometimes. They come in like a pack of 150, they're 10 bucks or something like that. They're not very expensive, but they're really helpful when you're talking about getting into really fine areas like that. We use them primarily to clean inside of intricate grills and around emblems and stuff, but I found they work well for touch-up also. You can see the Plum Crazy purple. Dip just a little bit of paint on here. And as long as the area is clean, just gonna dab that on there a little bit. Again, I said this chip is so small, it's almost not worth touching up. But you can see it's at least eliminating some of that white spot now. It's probably gonna take one more coat after that dries to really cover it up completely. So this is probably the biggest chip on the car. It's on the door. I'm not really sure how it got a rock chip up here. It doesn't look like a door ding. We see that a lot, but there's no dent really to it. So must have been a rock, but probably got thrown up by the front tires. Maybe in the process of doing donuts. We don't know. So I'm wet sanding the big blob of paint off of the chip. That's going to allow the paint that went down into the chip to stay in there, but make the rest of it level. As you can see, the chip becomes almost completely invisible at that point. What we're going to do then is layer a little bit of clear coat on top. So that pen came with base coat and with clear coat. We're going to use the clear coat to fill in what's left and then wet sand it level. Now normally, a lot of times when you're wet sanding, you use a block so you don't make sort of little finger indents in the surface that you're sanding. Since these are such small areas, I'm using a very, very light sandpaper. It's 2000 grit. That's probably going to sand some of the orange peel out of the factory finish here, but that's okay. We're going to end up putting XPEL paint protection film over this front end anyhow. Don't worry. The paint is not ruined. When you wet sand paint, it scuffs it up. It looks very dull. We're going to put a little drop of clear coat over every one of those chips as well. We're going to wet sand it one more time. Then we're going to polish the paint. It's going to look good again. Okay. So they give you this little sponge thing. Not necessarily ideal for this, but we're going to drop a little drop of clear coat over top of all of those chips. And again, same deal. Going to let it dry. Come back over it with some sandpaper. And then we're going to polish it out. So now we are going to do the final wet sand. We dabbed a little bit of clear coat on every one of those chips that we touched up earlier. Now we're going to wet sand the clear coat smooth and then polish it so it's shiny again. everybody, thank you very much for watching. Now the Hellcat is chip-free on the front end and ready for our XPEL paint protection film application. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content about our Hellcat.